先爱吧，把成一副肩膀当掉一点遗憾。先爱吧，可是一双翅膀划过一季黑暗。先爱吧。
The lyrics in your songs, though, are about love and heartbreak and stuff that, plenty of others sing about as well. How do you make sure that you don't get lumped in with them, that you sort of stand alone as your own artist?
我觉得一直以来大家很熟悉我的音乐的方式都是
I think the type of songs my fans are most familiar with are love ballads, probably because almost everyone can relate to a love ballad. A lot of people have asked why all my love ballads strike such a chord with them and make the pain of past experiences resurface. I'm an extremely sensitive person, and I'm very sensitive to all types of emotions. My songs include my personal experiences of love, as well as what I've seen in other people, in movies, stories, and books.
You are the third youngest of 9 kids. What are the best bits and the worst bits about growing up in such a big family?
身在大家庭的
The best bits about living in a large family are, of course, the atmosphere. The older kids can take care of the younger ones, and the younger ones can always seek comfort from their old siblings. You never feel lonely, and there's always someone to speak to when you feel lost. I think this is the best part of a large family. As to the worst bits of a big family, I think it's perhaps the lack of personal space. This isn't that big a problem when you are younger, but as you grow older, sometimes you can feel, I want to be alone, I don't want anyone around me.
一个人不要有人在我旁边什么的
Also, all the decision-making process needs to take everyone into consideration in a big family. Especially my family, my parents place a lot of emphasis on the harmony and relationships within the family. All the siblings must support each other, so you really can't do whatever you want. You must put your family before yourself. I guess that's the downside of a big family.
Interesting that you say it like that, your parents were into harmony, because they sang, both of them, and your sisters also sang, and of course you did a lot as a kid. And you entered a national singing contest. You got to the finals, you're doing really well, then something terrible happened. You forgot the words.
Yes.
Take me back to that episode.
我觉得那个歌唱比赛对我
In retrospect, I think that singing competition was a rather important step in my singing career, because that contest made me feel that I was beginning to compete in a more professional setting. In fact, that competition was important to a lot of people back then. Why? Because I came from a very small village. Also, I entered as an Aboriginal. So when I was competing, almost everyone was watching it and thinking that, we're cheering for you, you have to win the competition. So I felt a lot of pressure, especially since I entered the contest solely because of my father. My father's health was deteriorating, and I was usually the one who'd go and take care of him in the hospital. He said something to me that made me feel determined to enter the competition for him. My father said, all the candidates singing on TV don't sing as well as you do. You can sing much better than them. You should enter the competition so I can see you win.
我的决定是因为他的这句话
After he told me that, I knew he wanted me to enter the contest, so I did. The entire competition process was a long, stressful, nerve-wracking, and exhausting experience. And when I came so close to winning, I forgot the lyrics. Maybe because I was too nervous. So the competition stopped when I forgot the words, and I lost. I remember feeling extremely defeated then, and before heading back to my village, I told myself that I would never sing again, because singing is no longer joyful.
And obviously your father wasn't discouraged, because he encouraged you to enter again the following year. But he died without being able to actually see you win it that time. What sort of an impact did his passing have on you?
我从就是以前小时候
Since I was young, my father played a very important role. To me, he was a very good friend. Often my father would tell me that if you want to do something, you have to actually do it. When you've done it, we will clap for you because it means that you've succeeded. If you tried your best to do it but failed, you'd realize that at least you've tried and that maybe it's not the right thing for you. So I think my father has always instilled this belief in me. I always hold this in my heart in everything I do. I put all my efforts into doing something, and once I've done that, the rest is out of my control. I have to admit that when I re-entered the contest and again came so close to winning, and my father suddenly passed away, his death was another really cruel defeat for me. I remember my mother telling me, "Please don't think that your father left you when he died. In fact, he's still watching over you from above, seeing whether you are trying your best to finish what you've started." When my mother told me this, I thought, okay, I'll finish the competition for my father.
然后到他的那个坟前。
As soon as I received first prize, I returned to my tribe and visited my father's grave. I left the trophy with him and said, "I've listened to everything you said. I tried my hardest with everything I've done. Now that I've finished what I set out to do and have everyone's praise, now I need you to acknowledge it. I hope you know that I did it and that you're clapping for me from up high." Even now, I've gotten into the habit of talking to my father, regardless of what I do.
By 2000, you had become a household name, and that led to Chen Shui-bian asking you to sing the Taiwanese anthem at his presidential inauguration. He was seen very much by China as a splittist, somebody who wanted independence. Did you have any idea that by singing, you would be tarred with the same brush?
我觉得首先，其实这个问题啊。
This question has been bothering me for quite a while. Everyone knows that since the beginning of my singing career, I've never touched on politics. For artists like me, I want to sing to everyone who likes music and everyone who listens to my songs. We don't like to get involved in sensitive subjects. So this has bothered me for quite a long time. Let me explain this in a very simple manner. I was a singer then. I had a record company and I had an agency. So the artist must act in accordance to the arrangements made by the companies who have hired them. I believe both my record company and agency didn't think much about the performance either. So for me, I was obligated to do what my company had arranged for me to do. I've never had any political preference. Throughout my musical life, or just my life in general, I've never felt the urge to be a political spokesperson. I only strive to do my job, and in doing so, I have to carry out my contract as a singer. To be honest, the incident had huge implications. I shouldered all the pressure and the rumors on my own, but trust me, professional artists don't want to complicate their lives.
Sprite axed you as its spokesperson. Beijing decided to ban you from playing on the mainland, though eventually they relented and said, okay, you can come back and tour, so you did that. And then in 2004, when you were touring on the mainland, protesters demanded that you sing the Chinese national anthem. Back home in Taiwan, people were saying, A-mei's not sticking up for Taiwan enough. It was just this constant thing, and reading it, you know, it just feels like this poor girl can't win. Did it feel like that to you at the time?
我觉得这么大的一个这个。
In my opinion, the big issue about the relationship between the two sides is not something I could comment on, because I don't think that I'm qualified to comment on it. To me, just as I said before, it's very simple. I am a singer, so there shouldn't be so many complicated relationships added upon me. So I only hope that prominent figures do not place too much complication upon professional artists, because we all hope that everyone is good, just like my songs. They convey love, peace, and feelings. I hope the same for the world.
世界都是一样的。
Coming up, Talk Asia hits the stage with A-mei to talk about a very special concert.